Hey everybody, my name is TotalNerdStatus, and this is a Battlefield 4 commentary, and I'm not gonna lie, this is gonna be a bit rusty because I haven't even touched my video games in a while, other than the other day when I played GTA 5 with my friend. That video's only like 6 minutes long, but I'll still post it for those of you who want to watch it. Basically, it's just me and him doing single player and having some fun, so yeah, that's a thing. But I'm sorry I haven't been posting like anything. The reason behind that is because, well, I got sick for one, and so my voice just did not sound good at all, and I didn't feel like playing any games, so I didn't have any gameplay footage anyway until last night when I played some Battlefield 4, and it's team deathmatch up until about halfway through, I want to say, when it switches to Conquest. But regardless, basically what I've been up to is I've been sick, like I said, but while I was sick, I just kind of spent most of the time laying in bed or doing stuff in my room, like on the computer and on my iPad, looking up new bands, like going on YouTube and looking up the music that I like, which not a lot of people like. There's only maybe 2 people in my school that share the same musical taste as I do, and that's stuff like hardcore punk and like really hard rock, and I know there's another word for it that I just cannot think of. Basically, it's like Pierce the Veil and Bring Me the Horizon and people like that. So basically, I just went on iTunes Radio and looked up well, I didn't look up anything, but I went on iTunes Radio, and they recommended a channel for me that was called Buried in These Walls Radio, and I listened to that, and that's where I discovered a crap ton of new and awesome bands, and I'll name off all of the bands that I like for those of you who are into that sort of music, can look them up. So, first of all, there's Memphis May Fire, and this is in no order. It's not from worst to best or anything like that. This is just the bands that I like, and I guess, at the very end, after listing them, then I'll tell you my importance. And look at that! Since when do you get 2 hit markers on the Deagle? I think that happens at least twice throughout this gameplay. I do not understand. I thought the Deagle was solid 2 hits, like 2 hit markers, come on. Anywho, so there's Memphis May Fire, and they do a lot of singing. They do like really high-pitched screams, but they vary in their CDs. But they do the sort of stuff where they'd be scream singing for the verses, and then singing like really high and medium notes when they come to the chorus. So I like them a lot. Then there's Bring Me the Horizon, which is basically always scream singing, but they have their own type of scream singing. Like they don't have a technique to their scream. They literally just scream, and you can tell the difference between a Memphis May Fire scream and a Bring Me the Horizon scream, because especially if you're like me and you try and scream Bring Me the Horizon, by the time you get to the second verse, you lost your voice, because they literally just scream and it just ruins your voice. So it's not fun, but they are a good band. And then there's 3 Days Grace, which is really just a hard rock. They've always been one of my favorites. I went to a concert with them, which was amazing, but regardless. Then there's Myca Relocate. They're one of my definite favorites. They're kind of like Memphis May Fire, except they sing a little bit higher notes and they sing a little bit more often. But I mean, the lead singer of this band, I don't know his actual name, but he is amazing. He hits those high notes like a boss, so that's a good. And then there's Misfortune, which is 2 words, M-I-S-S, Fortune. I've only heard a couple of songs from these guys, but from what I understand, they're pretty fun to listen to, especially if you're just, kind of in a music-y mood and don't know what to listen to. Just look them up. And then there's blessthefall, which are definitely one of my favorites. It's all one word, and it's written in cursive without any capitalizations or anything, just blessthefall. And they do a lot of screaming, and they're like scream singing. They do a couple of slow songs, like the song Open Water. It's one of my favorite songs from them. It's kind of slow, but it's definitely good. My favorite song from them, definitely, probably like my top 3, one of my top 3 favorite songs in all this music, is called Hollow Bodies by blessthefall, and oh baby, just the intro of that song. That entire song is amazing, but just the intro gives me goosebumps every time I hear it, because it's just so intense. And so anyway, and then there's Bullet for My Valentine, which is one of my all-time favorites. Like the songs Tears Don't Fall and definitely Your Betrayal will forever be seared into my brain. I mean, I'll know those lyrics after death. I mean, I love those two songs, and I love this band. So yeah. And they do mostly singing. They sing like the high notes, but they don't really scream all that often. And then there's Of Mice and Men, which do some scream singing, kind of like, they do more than Bullet for My Valentine, but not very much more. And they do a lot of high-pitched singing as well. And then there's Born of Osiris, which is all scream singing. They're kind of like, they're a more advanced, I guess you could say, Bring Me the Horizon, in the sense that they're a little bit more hardcore, and it's, I mean, they're intense, but, and then there's August Burns Red, which is kind of the same as Born of Osiris. It's like 90% of the time it's scream singing. And then there's the Browning, sorry, which is all screaming, but it's like techno mixed in. So it's like, it's really fancy techno type music. I really can't describe it for you. Just look them up, and yeah, they have their own way of screaming too. It's really cool. And then there's Issues, which is my friend's favorite band, and I've only heard a couple of their songs, but they're pretty good. Yeah, they do a lot of scream singing as well. And then there's Halestorm, which has a female singer. She doesn't really do screams, but they're like a hard rock band that you hear on Kilo sometimes. Speaking of female singers, there's this band called Arch Enemy, which I don't have on this list. I forgot to put it on. It has a female scream singer, and if you didn't see the music videos, if you didn't watch her actually sing, you wouldn't be able to tell. You would never be able to tell that it was a girl, because it's just, it's ridiculous. If you're a fan of the scream singing stuff, definitely look them up. They're called Arch Enemy. And then there's Escape the Fate, which I guess they just came up with a new album, unless I haven't been keeping up. But yeah, they don't really do screams. Well, they do some screams, but they're more of just a hard rock kind of band that you'd hear off of Kilo. Then there's the Pretty Reckless, which do some screams, but again, they're just more of a hard rock band, kind of like Halestorm. By the way, the lead singer is female, and she's actually the girl. She's the little girl from How the Grinch Stole Christmas, like the live-action version. She's the little Cindy Lou girl, all grown up, and she's in this rock band now, and she's doing the singing, so that's kind of cool. Then there's Pierce the Veil, of course. They do a lot of scream singing, but then they're kind of like Memphis May Fire, where they would just sing the chorus. And then there's Sleeping with Sirens. I haven't heard too much by them, but they definitely hit the high notes, and they do a lot of screaming. Then there's theAmity Affliction, which I just discovered off of the radio thing, which do a lot of screaming, and sorry, I just discovered them, so I haven't really heard too much by them, but what I have heard is amazing, so definitely look them up. And then there's Crown the Empire. I think one of my friends just recently went to one of their concerts, like last night or the night before, and he said they were amazing. So they just came up with a new album. I don't know how long ago, but yeah, they're pretty amazing. My favorite songs by them are Voices and Makeshift Chemistry. So and then there's Suicide Silence, which is all screaming, and they can get pretty intense. And then there's The Color Morale. I've only heard one song by them, but they're mostly screamo. Then there's Our Last Night. The first song by them was a cover of the Skyfall theme from the James Bond movies, and that was amazing, but I just recently found out that they actually have albums of their own. They're not just a cover band. My cat is sharpening her claws on the chair. Hopefully you can't hear it, but anyway, so yeah, Our Last Night, do some screams. And then Ice Nine Kills. I've only heard one of their songs, but they're pretty good. We Came as Romans are pretty good too. From what I've heard, I've only heard a lot of singing and not so much screaming, but I could be listening to the, some old stuff or some new stuff, or whatever. And then there's Chiodos, I think that's how you pronounce it. They do a lot of screaming. Only heard one of their songs, but they're good, so they're on this list. And then there's Destroy Rebuild Until God Shows, otherwise known as Drugs, which I've only heard one of their songs again, but they're good, so I put them on this list. And then there's, actually that's about it, let me see. Yeah, I think I've gotten everyone, but, yeah. We still got like 2 minutes left of this commentary, though, and my computer literally just randomly opened the internet on me. Okay, so, anyway. The gameplay's a little rusty, I apologize for that. I tried sniping a lot, but that didn't really end up working, so I'm just kind of using light machine guns, and I ended up going kinda ham with the light machine guns, but, you know. I forget how fun this game is, because I would take breaks, like I took a break for a solid couple of weeks, because I got sick, and then I just didn't feel like playing it, it didn't sound fun. And when you take breaks from this game, at least if you're me, you know, you think about it, but when you think about playing it, like, oh, I should play some Battlefield 4, then memories come in your head, like bad memories, like memories of the boring parts, and you're like, nah, it doesn't sound fun. But then when you actually get up the enthusiasm to play it, then you forget how actually fun it is just to play, rather than, you know, running around and getting kills or anything. It's just fun to play in general, and I forgot about that, so it's kind of fun just to play it again. And I'll have more Battlefield commentaries in the future. I don't know what other games I'll be commentating. I did a couple of I played with Need for Speed a little bit the other day, so maybe I'll just record like a 10-minute streak of me, you know, driving around and having fun with cops or whatever, so I can commentate over that, because I don't think I've made a commentary of the racing game yet. I Need for Speed Rivals, sorry, but so yeah, I might make a commentary of that. I don't know what I'm going to talk about, because, you know, you have moments like this where I finish talking about my subject halfway through, and but then you got other times where I completely lose my train of thought halfway through, and it's a friggin' 20-minute video, so that was fun. And sometimes I talk over it, but I don't think that's going to happen this time. So anyway, that's about all the gameplay I have. But for now, yeah, definitely check out all those bands. And yeah, if you're a nerd like me, you'll enjoy it. See you guys next time.